Okay, I believe we are live on LinkedIn. Excited to chat here. Okay, so we have a very special guest this week. I know it's the week in between Christmas and New Year's, so I don't know if that means more people are watching because you're doing much work during the day, or it means that fewer people are watching because you're on vacation. If you're watching on vacation, stop and go back to vacation. But we do appreciate anybody watching here and now live, or those that are watching on the recording. Excited to be here with you, and we have a very special guest, Greg Myroth, who's the founder of Just Art Pottery, CEO, everything. I think it's a family business. Really, I want to hear from Greg as to how did this all get started? What got you into this business? Tell us a little bit about the business because it's super, super interesting, and I want everybody to hear about it. And their stuff is obviously beautiful. So, Greg, take it away.
Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, it's an interesting story. So we actually, my wife and I started Just Art Pottery back in 1997. Okay, so we were like one of the real early ones. So I remember like when eBay was starting and PayPal was starting and some of the software development, like I got to be involved in a lot of really cool things at the beginning of e-commerce, and we, without any insight at all, like there's no, when people say, well, man, you must have had some great vision. No, I don't even know why. We started a website. It just made sense. We saw eBay and we're like, oh, well, I'm just going to make my own website. And then there was a point in time where there was like these internet antique malls where like, they were just basically, you'd have your little shop. And I remember, I went on one of those, and in the first month I had $15,000 in sales. And I think I probably did more than the rest of their thing combined. So they're like, what I got involved with an interview with them, and they were asking like for, my insight and some ideas, and they did exactly what I didn't want to do. Like the way they changed it, like it was a big negative to my side of the business. So that kind of made us think, well, I just need to go get my own website, which we did. And then for years, every year, our sales just kind of doubled and doubled and doubled. From the very beginning, we were like just, trying to kind of viewed it as just, helping people, because what we sell is antique and collectible art pottery and some contemporary stuff. And it's, it's not something you just go to Walmart or Target and buy, right? So it's a little unique in that respect. So it was an interesting ride, So we started the website, and then to try to promote our website, we did all the standard content writing stuff, and when you're trying to get links and you're having your little link pages and all that stuff, we were involved.
Greg, was it Just Art Pottery from 1997 all the way till now? Like
it sure was.
Rebrand, nothing.
Never, other than like this website updates. And if you want to, honestly, like I can remember, this is a true story. I can remember eating lunch in 1997 at a Blimpies sub shop and thinking, oh, I like these purple and yellow colors. That could be some good colors for our website. And so then as I started, like when we got to like arts and crafts, and like some folks were like, well, Greg, those aren't really good arts. So we just, I didn't know. It's just how you like, I at least, I have an engineering background too. So like rather than, so a lot of engineers are really analytical and they want to have the whole path, like every step A through Z mapped out. And I've never really been like that. It's like, let's start this. We'll throw something up there and we'll revise as we go along. So that worked out well for me. And so then the next step in the process I was going to mention to you. So then, we're trying to figure out how do we promote the website more? How do we grow the business? So we started doing some of these antique. So there's several like antique art pottery or antique shows, like these kind of like these kind of different shows. So we started doing those. And I remember at the time, the comments were like, you guys are what's wrong with the antique market, because you can't sell antiques on the internet. Like that's just don't do that. You can't do that. And we were the problem with the market. Well, it was just like, we had little kids at the time. We was just like, this is what we're doing, man. So we just kept doing it. The funny thing is now I have a lot of people to say that, well, you're really saving the antique, or not the full antique market, but what you're doing is helping build the market. And honestly, like there was all the people, but just, we've had great success with this and fun with this the entire time. We have great customers, incredible loyal customers. We literally still have some of the same customers that were buying from us in 1997 that still buy from us to this day. So it's been so cool. It's been a really interesting ride. It's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I think it's when we've been talking a little bit about your customers and some of your customer stories, that's been just so interesting. And I'm really fascinated by your business too. There's always a lot of stories, I think, even with your products that you have too. Do you have like a cool customer story in mind, or one that just kind of sticks in your mind that you'd want to share?
Oh man, that's a tough one. There's been so many.
It's a loaded question.
Well, I can
Putting
tell
you
you
on the
one.
spot.
I got one for you.
Okay.
So there was a guy. He's probably one of those long-term customers. He was buying stuff from us, and then all of a sudden, we'd start getting some boxes back in the mail, and we'd open these up, and I'm like, he just bought this 6 months ago. And a lot of times in these packages, there'd be a photo from like, I don't know, House Beautiful magazine or some magazine, and there'll be like, he'd circle a picture, and it would be something he bought from us. But so then I remember telling Lana, my wife, I'm like, well, Lana, like, I can't just take these back, and like, I don't want to make my customer mad, but I can't have just sold him a vase for $500 and give him $500 back for it and try to resell it for, you can't run a business like that where I'm not renting pottery, So I was just like, I hope I don't make him mad. Well, I just told him, oh, no, that's fine, Greg. I don't care. He said, I just wanted it for my magazine photo shoots that he does with this house, So that guy to this day will buy stuff from us, and he'll like, it's got to be a certain height, and it can be, if it's a half an inch too big or too wide, he's like, that isn't going to work. So there's just this constant recycling, which is something I didn't really recognize when I got in that business. There's a lot of collectors are always like, they'll keep it for a few years, and then they want to upgrade or they want to change it out. So we just it just kind of sees itself recycling through the years and stuff. And a lot of people, it is really, what they collect is really personal to them, and they view it almost like a pet or a child. Like, I want to make sure this goes to the next generation of collectors. And another interesting story, not so much a customer, but this lady, she's an attorney from Dallas, because I'm in Illinois. She's in Dallas. She calls me. She says, Greg, I need to get rid of my pottery collection. And so I'm like, sure, okay, I'll buy it. So she brings it up. Drives up, she complains about the traffic near Peoria where I live, and I think she's going to spend the afternoon with me while I unbox this stuff. She literally drops the boxes off and says, Greg, it's nice meeting you. I got to go. And later she told me, she said, I just couldn't stand to see it opened up again and like part with it. So it's just interesting how attached people get to their collectibles.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So how is shipping? Like, that's something that I think of. How is figuring that out with such, sometimes large items?
Okay, my first shipping story to you is this. I'm going to take a little tangent here, but this is kind of fun. So when we buy a lot of big collections. So shipping. First of all, I have Sue, who's worked with us for about 15, 16 years now. She does all the shipping. We've recently hired another lady, Linda, that helps Sue with shipping. So I don't do a lot of the shipping, but I can tell you a quick little story about that. And we have had wonderful success. We ship $15,000 vases. We ship 40-inch tall Jardinier pedestals. We ship all sorts of things pretty much anywhere in the world. Now, my shipping story to you, though, is, and I will say, Sue loves Legos. And I always think about shipping like it's kind of like getting the right, make sure you got a big enough box, you got adequate padding and support on the piece. Well, but my shipping story to you is, when we were buying a big collection out in California, my wife, what we would often do is we would have our packing supplies shipped to the location, and we would maybe fly out and have the collection like freight shipped back. So I went out there one time thinking, well, how hard can this be, right? And I wasn't even using a mail carrier. We were just using it was a semi. It was shipped freight, so it wasn't like it's going to be thrown around in the back of a UPS truck or USPS or anything like that. So we're out there, and I spent the weekend with my wife boxing this stuff up, and she acted like it was not, because at the time she used to help Sue. I helped for that weekend. What I can tell you is there are a lot of logistics to it, but it is actually very hard work when you're boxing, shipping, using the tape gun, all that stuff. I stay away from that part of the business for the most part, but we have no trouble shipping anything to anywhere in the country for the most part. We've had very, very few breakages over the years, thankfully.
That's awesome. cool.
Great stuff. Is there anything that you use, and is there any like useful, and we'll get to Givz here in short order, as I know we're coming up on time, but anything on the shipping side or anything as you're planning looking into the new year aside from Givz that you're looking at that's going to be helpful to your business, whether it's an app on Shopify or something that helps logistics wise or otherwise?
You know what? Not that we're aware of. I think one of the, I mean, we're pretty. We've been doing this for so long. I mean, and there's always little things you look at app wise. I think I mentioned to you, Andrew, like how excited I was when I found out about Givz, because I listen to podcasts. I'm always like trying what's new and trying to like grow our business and make changes and stuff. And finding your app was really cool to me because like I said, man, I look at stuff like I always try to throttle myself back because I want to try new things, but I also know like people talk about, you don't want to like slow down your Shopify site and all that stuff. And so I don't willy-nilly just add apps, but I heard that podcast and I thought with you one time, I thought it's a great idea. And I knew this would work because I remember like at the beginning of the pandemic, it was weird because we were an internet business. We're a family business. So we could just keep doing like normal, but it was this point where like, okay, what do you do? Like, I didn't know what to do, right? Like you're just kind of stopping, but you're also like, but I'm having people wanted to buy stuff and we weren't like promoting stuff. We weren't really doing anything, but it just was an awkward, everybody's trying to feel their way out. And so what we did for 2 weekends in a row, we did like, a donation thing, like 10% of sales to Meals on Wheels local, just as a local thing. And I think we raised like 10 grand and like I think we did it 3 times. I think we might've did it through the first 3 weekends in a row. And I will say, I had some people, I had wonderful responses and I had a few people like, Greg, what are you doing? You shouldn't be set. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Shut my business down? It's like, so it was a weird thing. But I remember, Andrew, like I literally like Lana prints out a spreadsheet, says, here's your sales. And I'm just like 10%. And we were literally using an Excel spreadsheet to calculate what that was. So then, I didn't do anything. So we did that like 3 times, did that. And then next thing I started using your app and found how, it's just super cool, right? Because I think right now we have about 40% redemption rate on the offer. And I still don't have a great, I tried it. It's just like, try this, it works. So we've done like, 10% of sales. We've had like in lieu of like another promotion, then we've had like an always on 2% cash back deal. And it's been neat. I don't know. I don't have the statistics to say what's working better than others, but it's all been very well received by our customers. And I think you mentioned the 40, I think we're at like 43%, which I think is a little higher, which I figured our customers would be really supportive of something like this, which they have been. And it's been interesting to see, because you've got the typical, the St. Jude's and the cancer research stuff. But then we also have like a fair number of customers that it's their local sports organizations, or it's a historical society from like these local towns, which is really neat to me. And I can picture like somebody, because, like some of the stuff we sell, it's like, you don't necessarily need it, but you might want it. So you're like, oh, what the heck? I want to buy this vase and I can give 10% of it to my local charity. So it's just another little push to get people to buy, but it makes you feel good. It makes me feel good. I know it makes them feel good. So I was really excited about what you guys are doing. And you guys have both been, both Nicole and you, Andrew, have been really, really super helpful through me for this whole process. Anytime I've had a simple question about anything, man, you guys are like right on it, super responsive. So it's been really cool partnering with you guys on this process.
I appreciate that. Thank
you.
Yeah,
thanks so much. We love partnering with you as well. And on the data side, so I think it's really, we love that qualitatively, it seems like, hey, this is really driving sales forwards. I would love to try to prove that quantitatively, right? Yeah. And actually say like, hey, here's the data. And so we actually had a guest on last week on LinkedIn Live, Yasmin from Peel Analytics, where she actually, and I was just texting with her before we hopped on here, Greg. I was like, hey, can we get Greg a quick, one quick free trial, see how this works. I don't know if they're actually doing free trials, but for you, Greg, they're in. So we're gonna get that for the new year. We'll take a look at the data in particular, and then we'll have to do a follow-up LinkedIn Live maybe with Yasmin, with you, bring you back, Greg, and we'll actually like look at the data. It'll be super interesting. But for now, we love the partnership with you. We couldn't be happier. It's such a cool product. So amazing. For anybody watching, please go check out Just Art Pottery. Right now, you'll get 2% to give back to any charity of your choice. Join their mailing list so you can find out when you get the 10% or 15% or whatever it is that's going to come boosted over the course of 2022. And it's just really cool stuff. Thanks so much, Greg.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks.
Talk soon.
See you later.
Bye.